This is in response to young Pharaoh. Um, he's talking about self-toxicity and self-dissension. I wanted to really just talk about the self-toxicity and my personal experience on that matter is, I don't believe we as humans want to cause harm to ourselves. I believe it's sort of like divine intervention. I believe that it's more spiritual, and I just don't agree with that people push themselves in a situation that causes them harm. I believe that situations that we go through in life and not knowing that we choose these paths that we go through, we wind up, a lot of people wind up in a dark place. And I believe that there's not one person on this planet that's in the real world, that's not privileged, ends up in these situations because that's the way God's way of bringing you to Him. Uh, when I was 20 years old, I'm gonna tell you a story about a friend that I had. You know, um, real good friends since probably 4 years old, 4 or 5, since we was able to recognize we was even friends. Um, my mom and his mom was best friends, and shit, we used to pee in a bed together, and our parents didn't know which one of us was pissing. I mean, that's how young we were. And I'm gonna get straight to the story. Me and my friend, my best friend, we used to have great time together. Um, we worked together straight out of high school. You know, I graduated high school in '95, and I can very well remember the song "I Got Five on It" by Lunas. I got five on it, and back then everybody used to run around. I got five on it, and we used to get in these ciphers and just smoke weed. And I mean, we just had the greatest times in life, man. I mean, we would laugh. We would. I mean, it was the weekends was just so wonderful. And my friend went off to the not the Marines, but the Navy. And when he left, I think he did like 4 years in the Navy. And he came back, and he wasn't the same friend that I once knew. See, what he failed to realize was life kept going. And when he was in the Navy, he was took out of civilization, which is the real world, and he was basically made this robot. And so when he got back to the real world, he didn't realize that a lot of people that he knew had went on with their life, had children, and we accumulated all these real life issues. So he would come over sometime, and I'd be like, "Hey, what's up, buddy? What you doing, man?" He was the only person that would come over and hold my son. Out of all the friends I had, he was the only person I felt comfortable with holding my son. And you know, at that time I was on probation, and I couldn't smoke marijuana at that time, but him and my girlfriend would always roll up, and you know, I can actually call him a real good friend. So he would always tell me, he would say things like, hey, bro, you know, I'm going to go downtown and blow the police station up with C4. At that time, I didn't know what mental health was. And to this day, I, um, I hold resentment and guilt that I wasn't able to be the friend that I needed to be. And it was like he was crying out for help, and I didn't realize it. And when he would go through these mental bouts or spiritual bouts, me and my child's mother, we would just look at each other like, man, what's wrong with him? And I just didn't understand. And I mean, he would just say things like, hey, I got the hook up on some C4 from a friend that I was in the Navy with, and he's in California, and I'm gonna go downtown and blow the police station up, and I got a what's it called? It's like some type of loan you get from the Navy or the Army, a VA loan. That's what it's called, a VA loan. And I can go get this. I can get a house. I got $20,000 in the bank, but it's just I don't care about these things. And I would just look at him like, "Come on, bro, you tripping, man? You know, live life." And I just didn't understand where he was coming from. So I think this was on like July the 3rd, and I never forget. I think it was on July the 5th, which was Sunday. This is 2001. I was in the shower, 9 o'clock in the morning, and my child's mother busted in the bathroom. She said, "Your mom's outside, and your best friend, your friend, committed suicide." And I felt like I got electrocuted by lightning. I put my clothes on, jumped in the car with my mother, my child's mother, and I just couldn't believe it. You know, we was on our way to his house where his mom lived at. And as soon as I got in the house, I just seen all these pictures that reminded me of our childhood. And I mean, I never cried like that in my life. And I just believe that it's spiritual. It's really spiritual warfare out here. That's if you're in the real world. You know, I'm not talking about your privileged folks, but we all go through these trials and tribulations in life. Whether if you went through them yet, you're bound to go through them. And I don't wish tribulations on no man. But if you really don't know God, you're just bound to go through them. And I hated that my friends no longer here because I feel like if I knew how to be a friend at that time, I feel like I maybe could have saved his life. You know, I don't think a person in their right mind will cause harm to themselves and cause harm to the loved ones they leave behind. I believe it's a demonic spirit. I believe that the person is possessed because the person I knew wouldn't do anything like that. And what we go through Moses, it makes us who we are today. And all the things I've been through in life, I probably will do things different, but I don't regret anything that I went through in life. You know, um, that's why I have so much resentment towards religion, you know, because I mean it's so many casualties that people go to church and we get this enlightenment supposedly from the church, and we come out we feel like they're real refreshed, but in actuality a lot of people don't really understand what life is all about. You know, I just hated that it's just so many casualties out here, and a lot of people assume about people, and they really don't know. Like, assumptions are no place in the heart for the righteous, and I'm gonna continue to say that. You know, we assume this about a person, we assume that about a person. You know, family members are the main ones to do it. You know, because you know it says in Revelations, you know, families are not gonna be the same that we once knew. You know, them are not the exact words, but you know, families ain't what they should be. Friends ain't either for that part. You know, since I'm gonna talk about family, friends ain't either. But I don't know, self-toxicity. If we all in the world together, we're gonna run across people that's going through certain issues. But as a brother, we supposed to be able to lift them up. You know, we supposed to call a friend and check on them. You know, I just don't believe that there's no way that we can avoid people that's going through life crisis. Everybody goes through them at one point in time in their life, if not a couple of times. You know, it's just how you deal with it. That's what makes you a man, a woman for that point. You know, we have to go through things. There's nothing in life that's strong that hasn't been forged through a tough situation, and all of us should know that. You know, I just want to basically say that I'm from the hood, and I see I see people go through it all the time, and I can't save them. Only God can save them. Ain't nothing I can do. You know, I can pray for them, and but I can honestly say I've never wished um, bad fortune on anybody. Um, I've never been fortunate enough just to be around people that's, you know, that's positive people. Like in this life, I've been around a lot of unfortunate people, and I don't mind. You know, I try to surround myself by, you know, a positive circle, but a lot of my friends are dead and gone. You know, two or three friends I had dead and gone, and you don't get that many friends. You'll know if they friends when you go through something, and I'm always say that. You know, hold on one second. Uh, my main thing is when people assuming things about their brother. How can you say you love your brother if you assume things? If you say, hey, you know, you have people that's negative, and hey, you should surround yourself by positive people. I mean, everything's an illusion anyway. Everybody's a deceiver. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's only a few righteous people out of 100. So imagine out of 1,000. You know, you'll never know who's really truly there for your best interest. So as far as people aligning themselves to cause harm to themselves, I don't even think that's possible. Um, I just think it's um, a spiritual walk that we all have, and I believe that you know what we go through molds us and who we are today. You know, I mean, if you look at a tree, it starts as a seed, and It weathers the storm. It weathers all the different seasons. And if you come back to that same tree in 10, 20, 30 years, its roots will run deep in the ground. And it can withstand all the tornadoes and the storms. And it might lose a couple of branches, but it's still there. Just sign your name in it, and see if it's still there in 10, 20, 30 years. When your kids become when your kids have kids, or when you become a grandfather, that's life. That's life. And man, I'm a happy person, man. I swear I am, man. A lot of people, man. I mean, I know that you know, what we truly go through makes us who we are, but um, it makes us true kings. How you gonna get the throne if it's not worth fighting for? You just can't get a throne. It's just not gonna be given to you. A crown is just not gonna be put in your head. People's not gonna appoint you king, and they ain't seen you go through anything that they didn't go through. Um, I mean, basically that's it. But I agree with a lot of things that Pharaoh says, but I feel like Pharaoh's still young, and I feel like we all have a lot to learn, and that's why we fellowship. You know, one thing about being black, what comes along with being black, is we all have too much pride, and we all feel like that we have this knowledge over the next person. But our knowledge grows, and the way we think now, we're not gonna think in 5 or 10 years even. You know, because all black people should understand that we all one body. We're all one body. So, we got to take all these different beliefs and assumptions, and we got to kick the assumptions out, and we got to take everything that we know as black people. We need to sit at the round table, and we need to talk about it like true kings. You know, we don't have to be a different tribes. We can all be one tribe because, like I said, we're all one body. And if I'm hurt, you hurt. And if I'm happy, of course, we all happy. So God bless y'all, and you have a beautiful day.